Hi everyone. Today I want to make a video to show you how to go through the regular EI application without actually reading all the material. Of course, I don't encourage you to just skip all the steps, but at least if you really want to just file the EI, regular EI, I can show you some tricks and some of the pages you don't have to uh, like read word by word. So let's first to go into Canada.ca, the website is where you can apply EI online. And then once you go into this page, and then the home page will have a link to employment insurance. So today we're going to just talk about regular benefit. So regular benefit, I really want to maybe more specific to talk about just for the people who get laid off. You work for a company and then because of the current situation and then business is not good and then you got laid off. So let's just do that scenario. So you go in and then number one, you want to look at it. Are you really qualified? So instead of reading all this, and then I can tell you if you work a full time last year or even the minimum you need for the last 52 weeks is work 630 hours. So that's the minimum hours that qualify for you to apply for EI. And the information you need to get ready, there's a few things. So you know your SIN, and then you need actually to remember your mother's maiden name. So that's very special question. And also for your address, and then you need to actually know the postal code. I guess most people knows. And of course, for the banking information, that's very important. And the last one will be you already received a record of employment from your employer, which have all their information. So those are the things you have to get it ready. And let's go to the application. So that's the first page, and then there's some reading, and then if you want, you can read it. But like I did it so many times, and I would just keep going. Whether you say start and then the next one, and then you start the application. So that will actually get into the actual application process. First question they will ask you in the last 72 hours, did you actually didn't complete your application? So your case is no. Most people actually will be no on that one. So today we're going to demonstrate this scenario just for benefit for employee, not doing any self-employed. So we select this one, keep going. So if you are in any of this category, you have a reference code, you can enter it now. Otherwise, we don't have it. Now, we're just doing regular benefit today, so let's select this one. And what is mean by regular benefit, you can read through it, and I've just skipped this. Now, this is the actual application that all your information is right in front of you. Now you can start putting it in. So your SIN and your date of birth, and then your name, starting from your last name. And did your last name change since birth or at birth? And yeah, so most people know. And your gender. And now remember, this is a special question. So they want to verify that it's the same person who applied for the social insurance number, and then they answer the same question. So this is just a check step that makes sure you put in the right one. Um, that's why once you put in this, you go further. They will give you a summary page. So if everything correct is okay, if it's not, you can go back to change it. Once you have this one, now they say you already have a portion of data inside. So right now I will give you a temporary password just in case whatever uh, you didn't actually finish the whole process. You can still use this password to reactivate. That's the first question. Ask that is the password. So anyway, just keep going for this one. Or sometimes people just say forget it. I will just start from fresh. So your language and your phone number, or people just have a cell phone number. And remember, so the address, all you need to remember is your postal code, and then they will retrieve from this postal code. So they know it's 9th Avenue. So what is the number of that street? Sometimes you might have more selection, maybe not just one street. So this will be a down arrow for you to select the correct one. Do you have another address? No. So if it's yes, you enter the different one. Okay, if you belongs to any of this category, just put a check mark. Otherwise, just keep going. So that's why we can moving fast. Okay, for the income tax, when people read this page and then they're a little bit concerned, yeah, so what should I put in? But it's easy to answer the question. If you have an online account with uh, the federal government, you check this one. If not, the other one. And same as this one, if you check basic or spouse, it doesn't matter if it's wrong and then they will come back. You can still have chance to correct it. The only chance that you will select you and the spouse is you want a less tax deduction. Then you select this one, but you have to actually fulfill this category. So in this demo, and then we just say the simplest one is the best. So let's just keep going. Of course, if your situation is fall into those category, you have to select. Uh, Direct deposit information. Now, this one you really need to pay more attention because you're going to enter your banking information. So if you had EI before, then you can use the same account. That's easy. So if your account change in between, so you can re-enter your new banking information. So in my case, I don't actually, it's my first time, so I need to enter banking information. It would be number one. The other alternative is you can enter your banking information later on when you are doing your reporting. Or simply, I don't want them to do a direct deposit. Then you have to give a reason. So I think I really want to send the money direct deposit rather than just send out a check. Okay. Now for the banking information, if you have a checking account, you have a check, just look at all this number. It explains to you like how you put in all this. And if you don't, just go back to the bank, ask them to print you a sheet which will show the branch or the transit number, and you will actually have the rest. So let's put in this and which bank you work with. And that's the actual account number. So this one is the most important, even though you have the first three correct, but if this is a wrong number by one digit, you won't get your money. So if it's a joint account, you need the name of that joint account besides yourself, and then there will be another name. So so double check, make sure nothing wrong. Continue. Okay, so some more information about yourself, your education level. Are you belongs to a union or professional association? If yes, you have to put those names. No, just continue. Just simple question. Now about your former employee, so last employee. So starting from the job you just got laid off, and then you have to list all the job within the last 52 weeks within that 1 year, how many jobs you have, including full-time or part-time. So let's say, and when did you start? Sorry, you need a contact number for for that company, or even better, if you have the direct supervisor, and then they can reach him or her easily, just in case I may have question to ask them. And when did you start? Give a date. So if it's on the ROE, and then you put exactly what is put on the ROE. If you can't see the ROE, just take a guess. In ballpark is good enough. So it's beginning of the month, end of the month, that's okay. And then what's your last day? So you can quick and easy and then just select any last day here. So you have start date, last day. And then the other question, they will ask you whether you will return to this job. Lots of situation you don't know, so you just say unknown. So I won't come back to say, well, you say yes or no, and how come you're not actually. Uh, keep your promise. There's no such thing, so just keep going. It's okay. Okay, now the reason uh, why you leave this company. So the last job has to be shortage of work. So if you have more than one job, just put in whatever that uh, that record of employment show. So this one, how can you tell? Is A is shortage of employment, and then all the other uh, character will have a different meaning. So for this demonstration, I'm not going through the detail on the rest. Just stick with this one, shortage of work. That means you're being laid off. Okay, what is your regular pay? Like 27. That's before tax. So this is the highest higher amount. So it's 27 per hour, or you can put in the annual gross income. So this one is per hour. Continue. Okay, what's your job title? So I'm a mechanic. Now, when you type here, so you have to hit the search button because they will show you all the mechanics. Try to select the one as close as possible, but sometimes you may not find the correct one. But again, this is not something very crucial that they really want you to tell the truth, or they will say you are lying, or so something like heavy equipment mechanic. Well, it should be good enough for a truck. And so, yeah, so if you cannot get the right one, get the one closest enough. And once you select, it will show up here. So make sure you have one category here. And we can carry on. And a lot of time, actually, the ROE will already set what is your position. Okay, so this asks you whether you actually have the ROE. Two cases, either two scenario, either you have it on hand, a copy that you're going to mail it in, or they already submitted to Service Canada electronically. So this is the good scenario. Either you can send it in right away, or it's already sitting in the database. Or the second one is, or the employer probably will mail it to you, and then you probably take a week to receive that one. So once you receive it, and then still you want to send it to them as soon as possible. So this too is good. And then the last one, and then more complicated. So if you fall in those category, and that will delay your EI application. So let's select the first one, the good scenario, and carry on. So any other job? So in the past 1 year, you have one job, two jobs, or you switch jobs or part-time jobs. If there's any, then you have to enter all the info at the last few steps again, job by job. So if it's not, and then we just keep going. So if you were in Quebec for the last 2 years, you might receiving this. If yes, and then you enter the date when you receive it. If it's no, just keep going. Okay, did you actually claim WCB? If yes, you might still have a file number open, so you have to enter the file number. So if it's not, just keep going. And so are you going to retire in the next year? So in this demo, so I think you're still too young to retire, so let's say no. If yes, that means uh, they know you are going to receive some pension money, so they want you to report those money, and then they will recalculate the payout. Now, this one is asking whether you actually is related to the employer. So if any of your job that you're working for a relative, and then you have to say yes, and then you have to answer, select all this. No, much simple. Also, do you have a share for a company for more than 40%? And did you actually own a company either by yourself or partnership? So if no, it's okay. If it's yes, just give a little bit more detail, like which company, what about all this, and let's keep going so we can just finish it pretty quick. And now this one, the other question, even you answer it wrong, may not be that important, but this one you really want to pay attention because this one will actually use this number, I mean, to calculate the actual payout. The number one question they want to ask you whether you work more than uh, 20 weeks. So the flip side, do you work less than 20 weeks? If it's less, that means you're not even qualified. So I guess that's the reason. Well, I mean, they will actually calculate. Sorry, you still qualify, but that's how much they can use to calculate your payout. It's only like 20 weeks or whatever number you have it, or even less. But as long as you're more than 630 hours, you're okay. So they will use the maximum number to calculate. If it's not, that means you're more than, that means okay. Second question. If it's more than, is your pay actually is really fluctuate month by month or week by week? So if it's yes, then you have to use your calculator, add up all the gross amount. The gross amount, if you add up all the weeks and then you divide it by the number of weeks, if it's more than 1042, that means you're okay. That means they will pay you still the highest payout, like 570 some dollars. Uh, I remember the exact. I don't remember the exact amount, but it's around like 500 some dollars. But that means then that you don't have to carry on with the last step. But if you don't, now this is the scenario that people need to pay attention. If your average is not higher than that, you fulfill all the others. That means you need to enter all the pay week by week, so that EI can actually use those highest week to calculate to do an average, rather than use the the other reported on the ROE. So this is one extra step that will help you to get more money. So that's why I encourage you to actually look at this to answer this question carefully. But uh, you may ask, like, how do I know? So if you have the ROE and then they have a bunch of square, like either 26 week, they already show you all the numbers, whether they're really close enough uh, from one to another. So if you see that certain pay chat which is really down like more than 30 to 40%, you might actually fall into this category that you need to report it week by week. So just be careful in this one. So yeah, so this is something that during the EI application, lots of people like don't understand these few questions. That's why I spent a little bit more time to explain. So in this demo, I just say the most usual case, people will work a full time and really steady pay. All right, so there's a bunch of questions. You don't even know why they ask you, but just answer as what you know. Were you in WCB? Were you long sick leave? Oh, this is all 2 years. So the last 2 years, that's what they're asking for. Whether you did claim WCB, whether you take a long sick leave, and then whether you actually claim any insurance wages payout. Were you on a strike? Uh, were you actually attend any training? So you said, well, what kind of training? I don't understand what they're asking. So they will give you, okay, this is the kind of training they're talking about. So if you attended all this and then you will say yes, and then you probably need to give more information. So were you in jail? And so did you actually in this protection, earner protection program? So this is what it means by the earner protection program. So if it's no all of it, then you can carry on. Now, once again, um, are you really just work for someone you are not belongs to the self-employed, or maybe you can actually on the side you want to start a company and then you do it self-employed. If that's the situation, you need to tell them what is that company and more detail. So again, so let's say no. And are you in farming industry, anything like that? So you will want to declare, you say yes, but normally we just say no. Are you planning to do any training or you are already in a training class? If yes, and then you need to give the detail. What are you training or not learning? Okay, so the last question, is anybody helping you to fill this application? If yes, and then you can put another person's name and his or her contact number. If it's no, that should be all the information you need to put in to apply for the EI. Now, the next will be all the rights and responsibility. So I want you to read it through. If you don't understand, get some help and then to understand what it is. But I can give you a quick summary. So what is important is when you are collecting regular EI, you need to have the ability to work and also have the ability to find work. And also, when you're actually doing the job search, you need to keep a record of your job search. Monday to Friday, you need to write it down like who did I call? How do I get to find a job? Did I get an interview? Did I meeting with friends to try to get a job? So that is number one important. And also you're committed to do an online report every 2 weeks. If you don't do that report, they will stop your EI. So those are in the summary, those important things. There's other stuff that you need to know. And when you do the reporting, they will repeatedly ask you the same question again and again. So, I mean, basically, the other question is whether you leave the country, you're in training, you have any income. So, once you understand what these 6 pages are, then you have to click here. Say, you really accept all this condition. So, you are legally binding to all the conditions. So, that means once you accept it, you hit this button, you will submit all the information to Service Canada, and then they will give you a response saying that they successfully receive all this. They will give you a temporary number. At the same paper, they will actually tell you if you need to send in any document. There's an address. The address is go by region. So for us, it's sending to Edmonton. So you have to write down the address, and then if you have ROE, you need to send in or any paper you need to send in, you have to send it to that address. Those the other piece of information. There's a link for you to do your online report. So try to actually copy down that link so that you can go in to do your online report. When are you going to do your online report? So after you submit this application within the 2 to 3 weeks, you will receive the first letter that has a 4-digit number. That's your access code. Once you have this access code, and then you can start do your online report. Doesn't matter whether you will get your money because the money might not come in within, maybe have to wait to 6 to 8 weeks now. So really depends. In current situation, you might even have to wait longer, but still you have to do your report. If you if EI don't see your report, they won't process the payment. So that's very important. So the other piece of information on that uh, acknowledgement paper or with your temporary file number is a phone number that you can contact Service Canada. But that phone number, if you call, once there's a recording, you press 0, and then they will actually put it into a lineup to wait for an operator. Sometimes you may have to wait over an hour, depends on what hours you call. So those are basic information, just something quick, and then for you to get through this application process. So I hope the video helped, and and also I hope you have a successful application. Bye.